Oh, we're back at it. You're joined by me, Kavan.
Me, Rash.
And this is Before Our Friends Die, the podcast where we have the conversations we want to have before we leave this planet. So with that in mind, let's go. So today, I'm very, very pleased to announce that we are joined by, how do we describe this guy, right? An enigma, a creative, an award winner, a local hero, Tyrone Williams.
You're gassing me up. Nice one.
Listen.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem at all. Thanks for being so gracious with your time and joining us today. Tyrone, I'm gonna open the curtains right away, right? So the last time I spent some time with you was during my brother's stag do.
Stag do, mental.
And we won't say anything more about that. But what I will say,
I heard stories, bro.
is
we can dive into it.
Yeah.
we'll jump in there maybe halfway through. Stay tuned. Tyrone, I would say you are probably the best dressed person.
Best dressed.
On the stag.
Don't get that award from you.
Other than the
nice
stag
one.
himself.
He came in
Of
as
course.
Ali
He's
G,
top
didn't he?
tier.
Ali
Of course.
G. Oh.
Yeah.
Ali G, of course.
Shut up, Ali
He was
G.
swagging. He was looking nice.
Yeah. But
you know.
I could see you are creative. So let's jump into who is Tyrone Williams?
Wow, that's a big question. You know. Who are you? You know, as a creative, you're always trying to find yourself at each step. Do you know what I mean? As an artist, you're always trying to build who you are. You're trying to build a vision for yourself. You know, I'm a person that's developing. I use creativity to express who I am as a person, and that's vital to me. I think it's like everyone needs something like a certain outlet to able to, you can go to a space where you feel free. Do you know what I mean? So anything creative to me has a mark of who I am. You know, like I wear it. I try to, like you said, like a dress sense. That is an expression of who I am as a person. That is a very sort of key thing to me. But yeah, I'm a photographer, visual artist. I've been doing photography for 12 years or so now. I got into it quite early, just using really small cameras and stuff, and just trying to find the avenue with photography where I could just really be myself with it. I wasn't trying to be restrictive. I wasn't trying to photography has to be like this, photography has to be a certain way. Like it's just be free with it. Make your own mind up about a medium, without babbling too much. But yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell, man.
So I want to touch a little bit more about what you said about that creative outlet. And obviously we've acknowledged your fashion sense and your photography skills, but I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued. Does it spill out into any other areas of your life? Like I'm thinking food presentation. Have you got the best wedges known to man? You know
Pyramids.
Oh man, crazy. I'll say it definitely leaks into different avenues, but like I think I don't want to sort of like spread myself out too much. I'll choose a few avenues where I can really sort of home in. Photography is definitely like the main avenue. Fashion, I used to dance a little bit as well. So this was before photography. So I used to do a bit of street dance. We used to travel, perform and stuff. So that was a key thing to me. So it was almost like I was dancing. I stopped doing it, and I needed to find something else which was just as expressive as dance. And I know it's completely different, but it can still be just as creative and just as free, as dance. But yeah, it is at the minute. It's just like visual stuff and photography. Food game's not crazy strong. I like to cook a few like vegan curries and that.
Yeah, come on.
But no Gordon Ramsay or nothing like that, man.
Fair. I thought
what about yourself, man? What about yourself? You into cooking?
Listen, I love to cook, but I'm not into presentation, anything like that. I just get to the point. I like to mix things up.
Yeah.
Good to go.
It's a taste, isn't it, man? It's a taste, man.
Exactly.
That's the realness, isn't it? You can make it look how you want, man. But if it's not got no flavors, bro.
Exactly. In my belly, anyway, it's gonna be.
It's all mashed up anyway.
So, yeah. Let's start as we need to go on. All right. I wanted to. I'm gonna again pull the curtain back a little bit, and I think Rachel, you'll agree with me on this one. Photography, bro. I can't take pictures, innit? God bless an iPhone. Yeah, and those who are watching this on YouTube or on Spotify video, this is my doing, right? So if it looks great, that's me. If it doesn't look great, that's also me. But that's okay. I can own all that. Point I'm making is, I need you to sort of elucidate photography for me a little bit. You know,
Okay.
I'm hearing apertures. I'm hearing focus. I'm hearing lens. I'm hearing all these words that, bro, I don't know. Is that all right?
I
Yeah.
know what you mean.
You know when-
yeah.
See on the stag do, yeah? Yeah, there's a few of them there. And I give the phone back. I don't know what's going on.
Were you there in the
I
corner?
know
Like,
you said. Oh man, it is a bit like that. You know, like the world of photography can be a bit daunting because there's so much technicality in it.
Break it down. So let's say you're taking a picture of us right now. What sort of things have you got to look at? Because obviously the lighting's not amazing. What sort of things have you got to consider?
I mean, it's just about balancing stuff that you know. So obviously there's ISO, aperture, shutter speed. But my main
What do they
thing is
you lost me at shutter speed.
man. Well, this is the thing for me. Like I've never been like a solely a technical photographer. There's photographers out there who love the technical side of photography and can go into it in pure detail. But I find like, you know, even if you know everything, doesn't mean like you can take a great photo. You know, like you can know everything about a camera and how it works, how to capture a photo, but it doesn't necessarily mean to me or a lot of other artists that it's going to be a good shot. For me, a good shot is remove all the technical. You just know the basics, even if it's just automatic. It's just what you see. The vision has to be pure. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if you can match a little bit of technical side with what you see, but what is most important is the vision, rather than, you know, is the lighting correct? Is everything right? A photo can be imperfect but perfect at the same time.
Boy.
Bars.
You know, like that's everything I stand for. Like sometimes things can be a bit rough cut but still beautiful in its own right. You know?
Love that. So would you say then for us, like we're never going to be photographers, yeah? Like that's not going to be our
Never
thing.
say never, man.
Never say never, man. Everyone's
Hold that
got
JB.
to know.
Hold
man.
that JB.
But do we need to can we just forego ISO, aperture, shutter speed, or would it help us knowing a little bit about those things, do you think?
Of course, you need to know. Yeah, you need to know what's what a little bit, but you know, you can go down a rabbit hole in terms of a type of perfectionism within the technical aspects, and you can lose a bit of the vision because of that. You know, but you know, it's just most cameras nowadays, iPhones and all that, is so automatic. It's so quick. It's all done for you. We're in this world of convenience, and it's shedding itself into the camera as well. You know, like all this stuff. You know, you see these adverts where it's like magic eraser and stuff. That's been going on for years. You could do that years in Photoshop if you know like the technical side. Like
we don't.
They're just branding. Like it's all branding, but it's not hard to learn. The technical aspects it's not hard to learn. But
I want to know. Just go back a little bit. So you said you picked up your camera first time 12 years ago.
Yeah,
I'm guessing, was it like a high tech or was it one of them disposable ones that we all used before?
Disposable ones was like the first.
Them Kodak ones.
First, like the Kodak ones, man. You know, like, and especially with the film and stuff, like you capture a moment. You can't look at it. You can't perfect it. It's just that moment in time.
Oh, what do you call them thing, man?
Film.
Or like,
the film, isn't it? Yeah, you had to get it printed out. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
But
35 mil.
how did you know from that day you picked up your camera that you're gonna do it for your career and 12 years on now?
Did you know?
Or were you winging it?
I mean, I knew I was quite creative. I knew I can take things quite far. And I knew I had a certain mind where I could lose myself within a medium. Photography was so open to me, and it was like, you know, there was no rules. I like to lose myself in a space where it's just like be free, you know. And I thought I've got a little bit of an edge on it, and I had a lot of drive. I've got a lot of creative drive. I think that's key as well. And I just stuck at it, and I didn't think I was going to be good at it at the start, or, you know, people would appreciate it in the end. It was just like I was onto something. You know, people around me were like taking note a little bit, and I just wanted to put as much energy into that. So, you know, and just amplify a certain direction within photography, you know. And I thought, okay, how far can I take this until like people do start realizing, you know, it's like a little project, okay, let me see how far I can take this one, you know, aesthetic or just photography. I just wanted to make a stamp in it after a while, man. I was like, okay, when you've got so much, I think when you've got something to say, like sometimes, you know, and it needs to go somewhere. I felt like I had a voice within photography.
Yeah.
Without, you know, blowing my own trumpet. Like I believed in. I've always from my mum, like she's always taught me believe in oneself no matter what, like just be yourself.
Love that.
Shout out to mom.
Like that's what it's about. When it comes down to it, really, like it comes back to you, like your childhood and that, like, and I don't know. I think it's when you're hungry to do something, you just want to see how far you can take it. It's like an experiment, like cool as it is, like you've got this podcast, how far, you're going to take this, like you've got this platform for artists, people to come on board and talk and stuff, like it's just seeing what you can do with stuff, like, and just enjoying the process, man.
Bro, we've been talking for 10 minutes. And like I said, I was with you recently. I've known you for a long time, but this is a very different side of you. I'm enjoying this side of you. So yeah, you're right. This platform, this outlet, this medium is really revealing for both Rashad and I to get to know these creatives and understand where you're coming from. Give us a little bit more information then about your journey so far. So those first few times when you were plotting, because the reason I'm asking you this is because I look at your Instagram, and your Instagram always makes me look at things a little bit differently. So it might be, I don't know, a picture of a fence or a broken window.
It's crazy, yeah.
And it's not just a broken window, but there's a colour that I would never have seen if I was walking past. But you focused on that colour, and it's given me another perspective on what's behind the broken window or what's behind the barbaric fence or whatever, right? You've given me those perspectives. I take it, and I'm going to guess now because I don't know. But I'm imagining your journey started at like autumn leaves, and then it went on to food maybe or whatever. What did plot out your journey for us to get to where you are right now? Or has it always been the abstract style of photography?
It's always been things that are, labeled as normal or mundane. I've always just focused on objects or something that you would just see and just take as broken or something, But for me, in sort of the broken parts of like our outside and urban environment, they're not they're not built up to be presented in a certain way. I find like a lot of our day-to-day thing, everything's presented to you like this is it's beautiful because it's set up and presented this way, and I hate structure to the point where it's overwhelming. There's always going to be a bit of brokenness, and the brokenness is like, I don't know, it's a world to the infinite to me, without sounding too, going into it too much.
Pull that up.
Because obviously I'm taking photos.
Say that again. Come on.
Like if you was to walk through like a clothing shop, or you're going through like a designer outlet, or you're going to somewhere that's classed as beautiful. It's all structured for you, isn't it? It's all structured. This is painted a certain way. It's all put up. It's meant to be pristine. The world of pristine.
Sterile.
Yeah, man. Like the world is. We're striving for a certain perfection in terms of what is beautiful. Beautiful doesn't have to be perfection. It doesn't have to be like polished, super polished. I'm trying to throw a spanner in the works and trying to show like something broken or something that's not meant to be beautiful can be seen as something beautiful or visually eye-catching. So it's almost like throwing a spanner or just just challenging the status quo of what beautiful is, to challenge the mind. You don't want the world to be painted for you, and this is meant to be beautiful. Challenge it. I'm trying to challenge the visual aesthetic of the day to day, really, without going too much into it.
You must see the world different then to us.
But
I think you got like because I saw a picture that I saw on your Instagram. I was like, what is this? I couldn't tell. And I was like, it's a car headlight, or it was like it was I was like, right, the way you took that picture, I couldn't even realise. But the picture looked amazing. It was broken as well. It was like a broken perfect picture the way you said it.
You said, so I want to pick on this in a second, but before that, I want to talk about something Rochelle and I can relate to, because I think we'll both find it quite funny. Yeah.
It was.
So the first thing is, you said broken is a well of the infinite, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I need to pick up on that in a second and remind me about that.
Okay.
Rochelle, Tyrone, you mentioned about sometimes things being broken, but they're still beautiful. Mm-hmm. Do you know what came to my head, bro? Hairlines.
Yo.
Bro, I need to see when my hairline starts going. That's my caption.
My hairline.
That's serious. You can start it, rock it, man. Just like shape it up or something.
Yeah.
Everyone's good hairline's gonna go.
I
right?
don't care how good the picture is. Yeah.
The thing that was coming to my mind.
I challenge you. Yeah, I
Oh,
challenge
man.
you. Make a broken hairline good.
Beautiful.
You're beautiful. Yeah.
Man, well, this is the thing. You can't escape. You know,
Process
will change. It's going to happen. You know, sometimes like you see people trying to polish themselves too much and stuff. Age is gonna, you know, it's gonna hit. We're in this process. You know, like it's inevitable, isn't it? You know, I'm not saying. I mean, some people might live by that sort of aspect where, you know, raw is raw and stuff. Obviously, you've got to keep yourself a certain way if we're talking about appearance and hairlines and stuff. But, you know, like the rawness is always there, isn't it? You know, like, oh, man, hairline. Oh, that's a good challenge, to be fair. I
That
like
is
it.
that.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'll see you in like 30 years. We'll do a photo shoot. Or something.
We got this brother now.
Nah,
Give him another year. Nah, he's right.
listen, that's a low blow, bro.
nah.
Podcast is done.
Your hairline's fine, bro.
I needed that.
Might
Thank
as
you.
well sit you, bro. That's what I got my hat on, bro.
Sorry to derail the conversation a little bit. Let's go back to that.
Cool.
Broken is the well of the infinite.
Mm-hmm.
I hear what you're saying. I really hear what you're saying. But I also feel like that must take some reconciliation or some negotiation internally to come to that.
Mm-hmm.
To acceptance that, you know what? Because we're so conditioned time in, time out that I remember being this is a proper self-reveal now. When I was a child, I used to write homework. If I got one letter wrong or one word wrong, scrunch up the whole paper, dash it away, start again. Do you know how much inefficiency that is?
That is long.
To then have to do it again. And this is primary school homework. No one cares, bro.
You did that
But
primary school?
I cared.
Yeah.
I cared.
Man.
Yeah.
And only... Sorry, I've got a cough. only recently have I come to accept that, you know what? Like, for instance, there's paint on the ceiling there. And I was on FaceTime with someone when I was sitting in this chair over here. And she's like, oh, your ceiling's shit. It's like,
Man.
Hey, who was that?
actually, it was one of our former guests. It was Molly and Martha.
Was that
Your
in the
ceiling-
podcast?
No, this is...
Okay.
Your ceiling shit.
This is in real life. I just
Break the
hearted,
ice.
just hearted her up on the podcast. Apologies if you're offended. And then I thought, I actually don't care. It's actually not deep. Because I know what I achieved in creating this room and having this space. And the fact that there is paint on the ceiling.
Could be intentional, man. Could be
Well, it is intentional. Let's just own it, right?
I think that's a good picture.
Do you know
Serious,
what I mean?
That's a certain aspects I look at and was like, okay, what can I
What would you name it?
what can I do? What would I name it?
Yeah,
Shit
fuck them
ceiling.
ceiling.
But yeah, what sort of negotiation or reconciliation internally did you have to go through to get to that stage? Or has it always been a part of you? Because like you say, your mum told you to believe in yourself from day one. And has that been part of that journey?
The broken aspects of things. I think it's, you know, what I find as well when I'm focusing on sort of errors or glitches or broken aspects of, you know, the world, I find it's a good space to reconstruct things. You know, like this is what I make of it, because the broken can, you know, usually all the lines and shapes there, you know, they're mixed matched and stuff. It's a bit of chaos, you know, visually. I find, you know, it's not like like I said before, like pristine. The shapes are perfect. With like broken aspects, you know, it's in terms of like a, you know, when you see like a painter or someone who's gonna abstract, you know, sculpt or whatever it is, you know, like shapes and lines and stuff are all, you know, scattered everywhere. It's like a bit of chaos. So from that chaos, I try to reconstruct something, and that's where I get a photo. This is like, it's like, this is how I see it a little bit.
I love that, man.
Without you know, going on into a tangent. I think it's just a really good space to reconstruct something. You know, fix the broken almost with a visual piece. You know, on this is how you can see something like this. But you know, it's really a rabbit hole, really, because that's why I'm drawn to it so much, because you're never going to get a definitive answer within a broken. It's just somewhere where you can look into, and I can capture something to, you know, challenge our world a little bit, like something visually. But I don't know what it is about the broken. I think it's just that error, that glitch is just, it's something that always sticks out, you know, like you said you had someone in here and they notice it straight away. Things like that are always around us, you know, like just the errors and glitches. You can't escape, you know, a little bit of rawness, you know. I'm just drawn to it. It makes it feel a little bit grounded as well. Like when I'm, you know, walking the streets taking photos and stuff, I feel a bit more grounded on, like, you know, just on this world a little bit, you know, just one with it and stuff, you know, like you can I don't know, you can paint the most perfect world for someone, but at the end of the day, we're surrounded by this brokenness sometimes, you know. I find inspiration in that a little bit. It just grounds me into the earth a little bit, or just the streets, or just finding inspiration from the streets a little bit. So I'm tangent.
Bro, I love that. And you know what you made me think of? So I work in a university, and a lot of my work is to do with access and participation of students who are underrepresented in higher education getting that higher education. There is a sector-wide gap in the degrees that young black students get versus their white peers. There is a gap in that, generally speaking, white students achieve a first or a 2-1 at a higher rate than black students. That in some circles is called the attainment gap, i.e. that white students are attaining more or better than black students. Language recently has flipped it to say it's the awarding gap. So universities are awarding less first and 2-1s to black students than they are their white counterparts, therefore flipping the onus on the university rather than on the student. And I think the way you talk about reframing ideas and reframing the world, it could easily be looked at, and this is not me saying this, by the way, just for the record, black students are just inherently less intelligent than white students. We know that is not true. There is something wrong with the university system, something broken with the university system that means that that outcome happens. So the onus should be on the university, not the student. And even language, you've opened up my mind in terms of how that can be presented in an image or all these sorts of different things. Really fascinating. Really, really fascinating.
Interesting about the gradings, though, definitely, that it's being shown onto the university instead of the students. And I think, you know, you have to challenge the system then. If it's just, I think you can't just blame the student or blame, you flip it around, you know, see it from that side, you know, challenge all areas of like what it could be, you know.
100%.
Who changed that then?
That's part of the sort of discussions or the discourse that's going on around it. So not one individual I couldn't say, but certainly part of the discussion, all right, so Tyrone, let's rewind about a year ago. A year and a half ago-ish.
Let's go before that, because I was gonna before we.
I thought you was gonna go to the stag then. Sorry,
I was getting nervous.
What was I gonna say? So the career that you're in, to me, is kind of niche. Well, to me, it is, because you must know a lot of people in the same career. The work that you do, I just want to. When did you start getting paid for it? I just want to know, as a career-wise, if someone's listening and they want to get into the same field as you, how does it work? Like, when you started at 18, would you say? Or is that when you picked up your first camera and then?
So I started, 17, 18. It wasn't until, art photography is a bit of a niche in terms of how to make money from it, because obviously you're selling artwork, or you're doing commissions for brands using your style to, help them. But my bread and butter is product photography. So I use, I'm always carrying on with the art side of what I do. That's sort of the real side of what I do. But everything that I've learned in the process of that, I can use it as a skill for businesses, like all the technical aspects that we were speaking about earlier. So that's really sort of like the side that's going to get you cash, So as long as you, for any upcoming photographer and stuff, like if you're passionate about photography and you're an art photographer, you want to pursue that, do that, acquire all the skills that you need to know, but then just think to yourself, like, everything you've learned along the way, like in terms of pursuing your art, you can use for, product photography or fashion or campaigns or commissioning, wedding photography. You can use that skill. That's a skill that's needed in the world. Everyone needs, a visual face for anything, and especially nowadays, like everything's digital visually. People need to see images, good images at that, like nowadays, because everyone's got a good camera on their phone, so if you're an artist and you're technical with the camera, you can have one up, like you can stand out and you can use that to put yourself out there and make money from it. So, you know, I've got two aspects where I'll make money from the product side, and then, you know, in the form of prints, books, and then I'll license images and stuff on the side. But yeah, it's took a while to get to the point where I'm just doing photography.
Yeah.
But like anything, you just need to, you know, push and just have the drive to, you know, really do what you do, you know.
Was it hard to get your exposure, like, in your field?
In terms of an artist,
yeah,
that's the difficult part. That's the difficult part, you know, because there's a lot of people out there who buy a good camera, a really good camera, and call themselves a photographer, you know, and then, you know, they'll put some high quality images up, and it's like, yeah, I'm a photographer. Like, you know, what makes another artist stand out from that, you know? It's not until you really challenge photography or yourself, you know, or you really believe in a certain thing that you're doing, you know, because everyone has got everyone sees the world differently.
Yeah.
You know, like if you've got something to say, you know, if you can see it in a different manner that no one's doing it, just believe in yourself and just put as much energy into that vision. You know, and it's beyond the technical aspects. It's beyond all of that. It's true imagery, you know, when you can feel it, you know. So, you know, photographers and artists will understand that there's a different measure to, you know, imagery just to have like a great camera. But it did take a long while. It took a lot of just really, you know, pushing your work in your own time constantly. You've got to be obsessive. You've got to do it in your spare time constantly. You've got to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there to, like, you know, features, magazines and stuff. Just do anything you can to put yourself out there, but at the same time, just home in on your vision. That's your true currency, you know. Sometimes it's not the best photographer that makes it; it's the most driven, you know. Like,
wow,
that's how it works. That's how it works, you know. Like, my old lecturer told me that, you know. But if you've got the talent and you want to pursue it, it will get you somewhere. You know, drive does get you somewhere eventually, even if it doesn't have to be in a straight line. Sometimes you can take your time, and, you know, you find your own path with your vision, you know. And photography is such a big spectrum. It's not like, obviously there's wedding photography, there's fashion photography, there's, you know, a lot of studio photography, but there's also the art side where it can be anything, you know. Just find your path within it, and then just you know, just go.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. And I was gonna say that exposure, I'm guessing, led to this big thing, a big show.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just give credit where it's due. That was a fantastic segue, Rachel.
Yeah.
So that exposure, talking about exposure.
Come on.
Yeah.
Learning.
Great British Photography Challenge 2021.
Oh yeah.
So let me just set the scene a little bit. Jerome, our common link, was like, yeah, Tyrone's on a TV show soon. You know, Jerome's, you know, he's just a quiet guy, you know, he ain't gonna shout about it, you know what I'm saying? But he mentioned it, I thought, okay, cool.
Man's on TV.
What do you mean? Man's on TV? Like? And I'm gonna keep it real. I've never heard of Rankin. But the lead up of this guy's taking pictures of Kate Moss, Madonna. The Queen, David Bowie, MJ.
He's done it all, man.
You pick what MJ that is, by the way. MJ.
Yeah, he's done it all.
Levels.
Serious.
If we're talking rankings of photographers, Rankin's at the top of the
You
rankings.
know the MJ thing?
That's a bar, you know.
Do you know you dropped the MJ?
Yeah.
Were you talking about MJ? Is the black one or the white one? Which one were you saying?
Well, they're both black.
But I mean, what were you saying?
Well, you pick which one, as in, is it MJ, Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson?
Oh shit! I went hello left. I was like, I thought you dropped the joke there.
I see where you're coming from.
Whoa.
Hey, let's clap, yeah. We get rid of that.
Right. So, yeah. Where was I? Ranking. But obviously, I did some research now. I watched episode 1. Sick. And we'll get into the individual episodes soon. But there's a crucial link there for me, because in between, we were talking off air about my dodgy knee. In between, I think episode 2 and 3, or maybe 3 and 4, I injured my knee. So I was homebound. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to be homebound, let me just enjoy the show even
most
more.
Of it, man.
Bro, man, sat up there in my living room there, just chilling, watching the show.
Nice.
And it was a really good moment on a shit time in my life. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So, and to see you I'm gonna have a spoiler. To see you win was like,
Yeah, nice one, man. Cheers.
you know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Really, really, really pleased for you. So let's just take a little step back then. You know the big piece now. The audience, they know the big part of this. But let's take a step back. Exposure. Was this all exposure plan? When did you see it? Where did you see it? How did you apply? What's the process like?
Ooh.
Lots of questions there.
Man. It was a random one. I got an email randomly from the producers.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That means they saw your work.
Some of the producers managed to find my work somehow, emailed me with one of the, like a casting call basically for it. So they must have emailed that to a few unis and stuff. They messaged me, I don't know how they found my work, and said, share it with your friends and stuff.
Sick.
So I thought, I wasn't too, to begin with, I wasn't too sure whether to go for it, but I thought, why not? They've emailed me, you know, like you got to send a little video of yourself, like who you are and stuff. And at that point, you know, I made a few books and stuff. My work was in a few galleries and stuff. So I was like, okay, why not? Let's just, you know, put myself out there. So yeah, I must have done I've done the video. I got an email back. I've done like 3 interviews after, I think. And then they said, yeah, randomly, like, you know, like, yeah, we want you, basically. And that was I was like, okay, you know, geez, I've got to put my work out there now. Yeah. I've got to show a face to my work, because a lot of photographers, artists, they hide behind their work. No one's really seen me before, talk about my work. So this was like a challenge for myself. Like, I've got to speak about my work now. Yeah. I've got to be the face. I've got to be the representation of my imagery now. You know, as an artist, that's a bit of an unnerving thing, because you're exposing your inner world in a sense. You know, like this is something that was very personal to me. But yeah, so I've done the video. Managed to, you know, it was during a time where it was like a furlough and stuff happened as well, and it was like a lot of restrictions. So it was all done like very like carefully, you know, there was a lot of masks and stuff on the set. So that was a challenge in itself. But as soon as I met one of the producers, one of the women that was in charge of like, you know, making the show, she was like, as soon as I seen your work, I wanted you on the show. And I was like, geez, okay. You know, it was a bit of a like, I was like, I need to represent then, you know. But yeah, obviously a mad experience for myself, once in a lifetime experience for myself, you know, especially meeting Rankin, like you said, in the world of photography, he's pretty much one of the most successful, if not one of the most, you know, successful photographers in the world, you know, like he's got a palace, you know, like his photography palace is crazy, man. Like
I checked his net worth as well.
What?
Well, I saw 10, but it can't be 10. It's got to be more.
Well,
yeah. I don't know.
Maybe someone's offshore.
Hey,
man's global anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Rankin Enterprises. What's the magazine called again?
Oh, he's got Hunger magazine. He's got Dazed.
Yeah, Dazed.
So like he's got his hands in a lot of different photography pockets.
Sick.
A lot of different photography pockets.
I want to touch on a couple of things. So you mentioned you had a few reservations when you first got the email. What were those reservations?
In terms of
when you first got asked to go on the show, you weren't 100% sure, and then you decided to go for it.
I mean, yeah, just the whole of like, you know, like recording myself, like I want to go on this show and stuff. Like this is, you know, at the end of the day, it was like it's a TV show at the end of the day. You know, I wasn't too sure if I want to put myself out like that, but I thought, why not, man?
Yeah.
You know,
how much? Go on. Sorry. Go on.
Nah, yeah, go on.
How much did they tell you when they sent you the email? Because a few things are interesting about the show, the Great British Photography Challenge 2021. First of all, no one got eliminated. So it's not like you're not nominated, man. Yeah, his picture was shit. Get out. So there's no nominations, there's no beef, there is competition. Yeah. But it's not reality TV show. You're not out getting smashed and then taking pictures of everyone like, You know what I mean? This is it was very gentle, polite, creative. Yeah. You know, free.
Yeah.
Did they tell you all of that at the start, or were you just thinking, what am I getting myself in for here?
Well, no, that's a good point, because I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be eliminations, you know, because especially a competition, like you think eliminations, TV show eliminations, but I think because it was, you know, like Rankin was involved and it was more about the craftsmanship, it scraps that, I don't know, that sort of a cliche thing. And I think it had more respect because of that. You know, it was on a level where it was like, you know, it was gentle viewing, like you said. You know, it wasn't about like, oh yeah, I want them to go through. It was like, okay, let's see all their journeys. You know, like, I like that aspect. It created a good atmosphere because of that. It created an atmosphere where we all helped each other. We're all like trying to, you know, boast each other on and stuff. It wasn't like too like, you know, I'm gonna win and stuff. But not to say like some of the producers wanted that from us a little bit, you know,
Really?
they're trying to create a TV show.
Camera,
Some of the
like,
producers,
yo,
seriously,
Man,
They
called
try-
you a pussy.
punch him, bro. Punch him.
they're asking you questions like,
Smash his camera.
they would have loved that. Seriously, they were trying to get something out of us. Serious, but I was holding my
Yeah,
ground. I was
you were calm throughout, bro. Yeah.
I was trying, man. I was trying.
Give us a little bit of a you know insight into that, then, because obviously we're seeing the other side of the camera. But what's it like for you to be like,
Hey, man.
man's got a camera in your face, like,
I'll tell you what, at the start, I've never had anything like that before. So,
yeah.
you know, like
Are they big cameras? Are they small cameras?
big cameras, man, intimidating. You got the boom guy there. Do you know what I mean? Got a bit of lighting
mic.
there. You got
Oh,
a bit of lighting, all sorts.
You must just stay like,
You got-
funny look like it.
You got everything, man. You got everything. It wasn't intimidating to begin with, and they help you align. Because I was quite nervous to begin with. You know, they put you on the spot. It's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I was like,
I don't know.
okay. Hold on. It takes you a while to get into it. Once you get into the motion, it's like second nature then, you know. But at the same time, you know, you got to think like, how do I want to be? You want to be the realist part of you. You want to be like quite real, but how are you going to be represented? You don't want to just go on there too like, I'm on there representing my work. So, you know, I'm representing a very passionate side of myself, you know, like this is, and that's what I wanted it to be like, you know.
I think you got that done really well. I think you come across really well. Obviously, I was watching it completely biased as well. So, but no, genuinely, I think you come across really well. I think you were, if I remember rightly, you were the one with the most abstract vision throughout. And one thing, you stayed true to yourself throughout the whole process. Yeah. Yes, you could see the development because obviously you were put in some awkward situations. Well, awkward is probably a poor choice of words, but you're put in situations where it was like, I don't know, go to Brighton Beach and get some pictures on a smartphone.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not used to that, then you know there was one a dancer. You had to get a picture of a dancer.
Yeah.
Again, probably to be fair, that's probably in line with your style a little bit. You know, the way you took it anyway was really in line with your style. But what I'm trying to say is you're in uncomfortable situations, but you stay true to yourself. And I think that's a good marker of who you are and how much of it is your core, because throughout you could see the commonality. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And unfortunately it's not an iPlayer. We couldn't find
It's
an
not,
iPlayer.
yeah, I couldn't find it.
Oh no.
No. But
They took it off.
have you got like a hookup? We can
I can hook
Yeah,
you
I
up
tried
if
to,
you
you know-
want. Yeah, I can
I,
hook you
I
up.
tried to use my websites.
Yeah.
Couldn't find nothing.
Man, they took it off because they put it back on TV for another run.
Right. Got
But
ya.
I don't know, for some reason, haven't put it back up on. I don't know what they're planning to do with
They
it.
always do
There
that.
might be a second one.
Is there
you know,
season
like-
2 coming, do you know?
I don't know if I'm. Apparently,
Oh,
there's talks of it.
all right.
There's apparently talks of it. I don't.
I thought you were going to say, like, you're coming back as a judge or...
Possibly.
We don't want to put you on in the
Possibly.
yeah.
Yeah. Watch
TV
this
world's a
space.
secretive world, isn't it?
Very...
So it's all politics. I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah. One last thing I want to touch on about the show. There's more we'll get into, but Rankin. Did you know Rankin before the show?
Yeah.
Okay, so this for you, when you're hearing that, this is like, wow.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I want to...
mean,
Oh, no, sorry, carry on.
well, you know, like obviously it's not the avenue I go down. Obviously he's a fashion photographer, but he is the fashion photographer. You know, he's, like you said before, he's took photographs of everyone.
The Queen, brother.
The Queen.
Mad.
I was looking through his books the other day, Timberland, you know, like Dizzy back in the day, Pharrell, like all these low key, like, you know, staples within music. He's done, mate. He's done everyone. So he's seen, you know, he's been amongst it, you know, like, but that was very much him in the celebrity world and stuff. He's got ties in fashion and stuff, but
Sick.
no, he's the sort of person, he can give you whatever advice you need, man. Like, you know, one good thing about this show, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff where it was like, you know, let's just have a chat for an hour in my office off screen. Like, how can I help you? Just ask me anything about photography. You know, what burning questions have you got? Let me see if I can help.
Wow.
And he just tries to connect it, links you up with the right people and stuff. He's very supportive off camera. Do you know what I mean? Just to help us as photographers. You know, that's priceless, man. Like,
You know, if we talk about other reality shows, apparently, you know, Pimp My Ride, yeah?
Yeah.
See Exhibit. As soon as man was off camera, man didn't even know them or chat to them. It was
I'm
just
gone.
Yeah. But it's good to know. It's good to hear the other side where people are.
My ride. All right, that was a good show.
Yeah, it was
good.
Addictive, wasn't it? It's like,
Hey man, we're gonna put a fish tank in your boot. What?
You can't swim, so we're gonna put a fish tank in your boot. Yeah. Right. One last question.
There's a story behind it, isn't it?
Bro, always something random as well. Like, I could go on for days. Chris Packham. Listen, when I was younger, my mum used to watch Spring Watch and Autumn Watch and them dead shows on the TV. No offense to anyone.
I don't even know who's Chris Packham.
He's a presenter on BBC Spring Watch or Autumn Watch.
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
Yeah. But not gonna lie, every now and then I'll be like, the hedgehogs on Autumn Watch or Spring Watch, whatever it was, I don't know. But Chris Packham, I know the guy. I don't know him personally, but I see him on TV. He's a public figure.
Okay.
You was in the New Forest with him.
That's it.
What was it like? What was it like meeting? Again, are you thinking, right, this is the guy from the TV, or are you thinking, I got to win this challenge, or I got to do well in the show? What's going through your mind at these points? Because obviously you're interacting with people who are people.
Yeah. Well, I know I saw his face before. I didn't know exactly what he stood for and stuff when I first seen him.
Who's his brother?
I'm not gonna lie, but quickly, like, I learned a lot about what he represented and stuff, and he's, such a passionate guy about nature, preserving it. One of the other people on the show as well, Paul Williams, that was one of his, like, his icons in a way. Like, he really respected, like, nature photography and wildlife photography. That's what Chris Packham does. And I think he actually wrote a blurb on one of Paul's books beforehand. So he published a book and he got Chris to, so he knew of him. And
that's links.
But meeting this guy, he's a great guy. He's a very passionate guy about photography as well, and it was really good to, don't know if obviously you've seen the show, but he was very critical on our photos.
Yeah.
He wasn't holding back for no one, basically. He's a perfectionist, and if he didn't like it, he would tell you straight. And we liked that honesty from, the judges. It wasn't like, oh yeah, this is great. It was like, we're getting some, crucial feedback. But what a hero, what he stands for. And he gave us a lot of insight to, how nature works. So he was telling us all sorts about, off camera, like how people might say, oh no, you're wrong and stuff, like, or I might get questioned on this, but he was saying about, like, some of the mushrooms and stuff, they communicate with the trees and all, like, interlinked underground and stuff, and he was really, like, he knows his stuff about nature, and that's a world that he loves, and he can, like photography for me, escape into, like, nature. That's his, that's his world that he loves and adores. So there's no wonder why he lives by it. He lives by something. I respect people that have found something and they treasure it, and they want to protect it, and really put something real on it. And he gave me an insight into what a guy.
Love that.
Yeah. What was the most memorable moment on the show?
Most memorable moment.
It could be on the show, off camera, anything.
Jeez. I mean, I guess the ending, in a sense, because I didn't see that coming with, with winning, let alone, with Jackson as well, which is a great thing. There was a lot of key moments in it, a lot of eureka moments. I think it was maybe first meeting Rankin for the first time as well. That was like, okay, like I've signed up to this show, I've done all the interviews and stuff, and then once we got there, or the mics were tuned up, it was like, okay, right, we're here, this is it, bang, like
action.
Yeah, that was, I think, just stepping into it for the first time, and that realization, getting down to it, that was the biggest moment for me. Like, this is it now. Yeah. And
on the flip side, what was the most testing moment?
I think the most testing moment for me was learning to really talk about my work, what it stood for, because and it's definitely helped me, but being on the show, but you got to put yourself on the line on this isn't just what I do, this is who I am, and that's how I come across on the show. And they challenged me to come into terms with that. Like they were saying, like, who are you?
Yeah, they asked you that quite a few times.
They were saying, like, there was a lot of stuff that was cut as well. There was some heated debates, you know, between, you know, me, Rankin, and that was filmed. Obviously, they didn't include it in, but it was more so because I'm good at explaining my work. You know, this is why I took it and stuff. But they weren't focusing on my work. They were focusing on me. You know, like you're on there.
It's different pressure, isn't it?
Different pressure, man. Different pressure. Who are you? You know, because they're trying to build you up as an artist. You know, like an artist, you represent. You know, so that was the biggest thing to take away, and you know, the biggest challenge on the show for me.
Would you do anything different if you can go back on the show, or?
No, I wouldn't change a thing. I don't think it is what it is. It's that experience. You know, I learned a lot from it. You know, I wouldn't want to tamper with whatever happened on that show.
So, in entertainment generally, there's a rule: don't work with children or animals. I go on your feed. I don't see people, let alone children. Don't see animals either. Is that intentional?
I saw one picture of a group of people. It was something green. There was like 4 people.
What, just like in general, do I stray away from not taking?
Yeah.
That sounded a bit accusational as well. I don't mean to.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I used to do a lot of portrait photography. But yeah, I really like, I think when I'm focusing on, you know, objects and stuff, it's not the pressure of building up a shoot or, do you know what? I do say that, but I have done a lot of projects with portraits as well. Like my early stuff, I've got a lot of, I made a book about my partner that I handed in for uni and stuff, and it was just all portraits and stuff. But, you know, I would never say no to shooting, you know, anything really. You know, in the world of photography, it is photography. It's, you know, it's pure, it's an art form, you know, but I have my own direction.
Well, quick question about your process then, in terms of photography. So I make a little bit of music every now and then, and sometimes you know it'll be late at night. So for instance,
late at night, 25 Soul World.
You can't hear it. I was about to play the theme song to Before Our Friends Die, but you can't hear it.
Oh man, I want to hear it.
Yeah, but I made that. One of the things I want us to talk about is sometimes late at night you'll be making a tune, come back the next day and you're like, oh god, this is dead. This is dead. Man. Whose idea was that? Have you ever like took a picture, let it rest for a little bit, the next day you're thinking, oh my god, what is that? You know, it does get like that sometimes, doesn't it? It does get like that. Sometimes it's using a certain mindset at the time, like you said, it seems so great. You look back in hindsight, it was sick. Yeah, but sometimes that's the challenge, isn't it? If you can look back at something in a different mindset, that's why it's good to get other perspectives on work sometimes, because when you're so locked in, sometimes you don't know what's good and what's bad. Sometimes when you're so into what you're doing. But yeah, I have had moments like that. Good. It's just like, you know, nah, I'm not feeling it. I say good because it makes me feel better.
With your music.
It's good to do that rather than saying everything I do is
sick.
Great.
Yeah. Have those honest reflection moments.
100%.
Last couple from me. I just want to sort of offer you a few proposals and see which one you take. Yeah.
All right.
So I'm emailing you now. I'm Drake's manager from OVO.
Drake.
Drake. New album. What do you think?
I heard it.
With 21 Savage. I haven't had to listen to it.
We should hear it. We've got a music podcast. We should be on
Serious?
that.
Yeah.
Cool, fine, done, wicked. Check it out. Nah, not even. Just like we sort of just chat shit. But good shit, like so. For instance, we talk a lot about
just talk, yeah.
Yeah, we done one that our latest episode out right now, episode 2 of Cool Fine Done Wicked, is about we went back to back in it. So he press shuffle, I press shuffle. What comes up and why is it on your phone?
Okay. Oh wow.
And you have to explain yourself.
Cool. I like that. You know.
Yeah.
I had bangers. This
that can open up a book a can of worms,
bro.
That can open a can of worms, man.
Couple tunes on there was like. That weren't with me. That was YouTube.
That was just YouTube doing YouTube stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, check out Cool Find and Wicked if you're interested in music. It's I love it. It's a great show. Episode 1 is about how I created this, so you can check out in detail how that was all made. But back to you, Tyrone.
Nice.
Sorry to digress. Drake.
Man, it's cool.
He wants you to create his new album cover.
Nice.
That's one proposal. It's on the table.
Nice.
Michael Jordan gets in touch. Michael Jordan,
you know.
I want you to do I'm on GQ in a few months. I want you to like take that picture for me, please.
Man, mad. That's wild.
Okay.
Oh,
I feel like it's real, man. Like, you know, like
and then you get a message
this is the third one.
From-
This is
from
random.
third message
from King Charles the
King
Third
Charles, you know.
saying, "Yes, so Tyrone, my mummy took pictures with Rankin.
That sounds like
It's a very Eubank,
Eubank.
innit?
Yeah, it sounds like Eubank, man.
My mother took pictures with Ranking, and frankly, I want you to take my picture, my portrait, to be on 50p coins, £5 notes,
50p
£10
coins.
notes, all of them. He wants to take every single one of them.
Hey, did you get money for each 50p?
There's got to be some money involved in that. Innit?
Tyrone,
So I've got to look at the budget for each one
Yeah.
as well. That counts as well, man.
yes, so, all right. So all three of them, but they all have to
Gotta
take
be
place
sick.
in the same day. So you can only choose one.
All right.
So what are the sort of things you look at?
Mhm.
What are the sort of things you're going to go for?
And the money's the same for each one.
Yeah, let's say the money's the same,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we all know
That's
it's
a good
not.
one, That's a good one. That's a good one. Wow.
So you said budget. What do you mean by budget? What does that mean? You mean
Like-
budget to pay you or budget for?
Budget to pay, yeah.
Right.
Like, obviously, if they're
Man
all
said my
different.
pockets.
Well, you know, like it's a
King Charles give you
commission.
that blank check. Oh.
Man, that's an interesting one, you know. I think there's a lot of different aspects you could probably talk about that. I mean, like for Drake, you know, he represents a side of culture, you know, a big side of culture. Everyone's heard of Drake, haven't they? You know, especially like
Yeah.
not just commercially, but you know, the early stuff, especially like a lot of black culture as well.
Yep.
You know, I'll probably take into account that, you know, like if I'm doing something for him, you know, it's going to be a stamp in that culture bracket, you know. Michael Jordan, obviously a legend. He's obviously one of the greatest of all time of what he does. King Charles, you know, in terms of culture, you know, that's something that's missing in terms of that side of things,
Yeah.
which is an interesting aspect, you know. But then, you know, to get printed on money and stuff, like that's, you know, that could go in, that's history, isn't it? You are putting a stamp on history. Drake is got different single covers all the time, you know, he's going to work on the next one. A stamp on money, you're always going to see it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really interesting one. It'd probably be, that's a hard question, man.
That is, now just deep in it.
I'd like, if I was going to go for the King Charles, I'd like to challenge him a little bit in terms of, you know, come into my world a little bit. I don't know.
What, stand by an estate when you do the picture?
Maybe
Fam.
get back to come to certain roots or
Yeah.
something. You know, let's put a flip on society. You know, like if you're coming to me, I've got to put something out there that's as raw as something that I do. You know. Oh, that's it, man. I've got to choose one.
Choose one.
Damn. Crazy. I think I could negotiate with King Charles, but it would have to be something very challenging. I couldn't just, okay, yeah, I'm going to take it for you. What do you want me to do? It would have to be something a bit controversial in terms of what he stands for, because there is a lot of controversy in terms of the royal family, their roots. I'd maybe have to put that on the line. And if he says no, maybe just negotiate. If he says no, then I'd move on to someone. I'd have to put something on the table like that, man.
I love your answer, you know. Again, we're seeing that golden thread of integrity all throughout what you've just said there.
Could you be the guy to change Charles?
Damn. Well, you know, he's probably going to say no. He's probably going to say no to a lot of challenges, you know, because they're paid a certain way. But I'd like just to negotiate. I'd probably keep that thread of negotiation for myself, you know. That is,
At least you try.
that's a bit of history there, you know. Like, and then I'll just, you know, okay, cool, Drake, let's kick it.
Jersey.
Sorry, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, I got Latrice. That was a good one, isn't it? Yo,
Mad.
I love that, bro. It was interesting to see your thought process in terms of Drake is going to have a new album. So Legacy, is that going to stick around? Who knows?
Yeah, I've never
Who
thought.
knows? It might be
Who knows? Oh,
it might
the
be a
music
take
as
care.
well, you know?
It's true.
It's everything, man.
It's true. Are those things you consider then? Obviously, like, you know, if someone's shouting you for a wedding, you're probably not going to do too much due diligence. But if it's a huge project like an album cover, a high profile, you're going to do your due diligence on them and how it aligns with you, right?
Yeah, of course. Representation, you know, what it stands for. Obviously, you know, you've got to, even if it's not completely like what you represent and stuff, make them come your way a little bit, put a flip on it, you know, always keep it true to your work and what it represents.
Yeah.
That's the way I go, you know, that's the way I would probably sort of move in terms of, you know, working or licensing images and stuff. Always negotiate and, you know, see where your work's gonna place, you know, because, you know, there's a random one, but I think, was it like Red Hot Chili Peppers? I think they got offered something by McDonald's back in the day to be on an advert, you know, sell the music, to be like a, you know, part of McDonald's branding. I think they said no, you know, because they didn't want to associate themselves with the brands. I think when you get to, you know, when you're putting your work out there, you can say yes to a lot of things, but sometimes you've got to say, I don't want my work to be in that sort of line and stuff, you know.
Yeah. I mean, the Nike swoosh.
I'm not blowing my own trumpet saying, you know, I can say no to certain things, but I'm saying, you know, the bigger picture in terms of a legacy of an artist and stuff. I think you have to choose carefully. That. Sorry, bro.
Sorry. Yeah. Just to say, we are blowing Tyrone's trumpet. Yeah. So if he doesn't want to. You know what I'm saying? Man's done his thing.
Sound effects, yeah.
You got it. Sorry, I keep coughing halfway through a question. One thing I wanted to touch on briefly was about legacy and licensing, and I suppose being compensated for your work. I was watching a video the other day about Nike, and the person who created the swoosh, was paid $35.
No, you're taking a piss.
I heard about that, you know. I heard about that. Yeah.
It's not even £35.
$17.50.
One of the most iconic symbols you see everywhere that's been, you know, branded into culture, really. 35.
35.
That's what I mean, man. It's art. You got to, you know, if you're making something for someone, you need to understand where it's going to be. You know, some people just say, yeah, like, that could be anywhere, man. Like,
I'm suing them,
that's crazy.
But he probably just thought, you know what? Yeah. Oh, shit. They
35,
like it.
35 bands. Yeah.
Serious.
He didn't get bands.
Yeah.
Was it K?
No. Individual dollars.
Damn.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had royalties on every single swoosh. I don't know how many shoes they sell.
So there's a lesson there, Tyrone. If we could distill that into a lesson, how would you, any potential creatives listen to this, what would you say to them?
Damn. Never shortchange yourself, or just think if someone wants to, you know, use my work and stuff, don't just, you know, hand it to people like left, right and centre, you know, because a lot of people would just say, okay, yeah, can I use this? That's cool. You know, but you got to, like I said before, it's your currency, you know, like if you're really, you know, passionate about what you do, that is your currency. It's going to be your livelihood, you know. Obviously, each client or anyone you work with is going to be different. You don't want to just like say, nah, my work's too expensive for you and stuff. Work with the individual, but never shortchange yourself. Like, and especially if it's like companies, big companies and stuff, you know, like really like speak to advisors, or, you know, speak to the photo community. Like, how much, you know, should I be selling my work, or how much should I be charging and stuff? Because a lot of people, you know, photography, like it's, you know, it's something very serious, you know. You can charge, you know, almost like what you want, you know, in a sense. Just do your research, you know, and yeah, never just take like the first thing. Okay, yeah, I'll do it, you know, just give me that, you know. Really home in on who they are, how is it going to be used, and just ask the photo community. That's the best thing you can do, man.
So talking of the photo community, if anyone wanted to get in touch with you, to get your advice, perspective, see some of your work, how can they get in touch?
Instagram is probably the best, or like the most, you know, the platform that I use the most in terms of putting work out there. So yeah, you can add me up on Ty's Wills. If you put Tyrone Williams, it will come up anyway. But yeah, I'm more than, you know, I'm always talking to artists about work directions, trying to help artists, and that's one thing that I'd love to do, you know. But yeah, just hit me up if you've got any burning questions. Even if I haven't got the questions, I could probably move you on to someone who does have questions.
Love that.
Yeah.
Hit him up.
Oh. No, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say hit him up. And if you're interested in any of our content, make sure you follow us on Twitter or Instagram on akhi&saltfish, or Instagram at beforeoursfriendsdiepod. We are also available via email if you've got any questions or comments, akhi&saltfish@gmail.com. Please don't forget to leave us a like, follow, subscription, all those good things, and let us know how you find the episode. We really appreciate your feedback.
Yeah. I was going to say, just go back on the bit where you said, I think it's difficult when you're doing your own work. People never know how much they're worth. That's what it is, and I think that's in every job, every day. A lot of people in there, they don't know what their worth is, salary, etc. But I think it's good to talk, get chat to connections and everything like that to figure
100%.
out 100% to get your figure, because there's money to be made everywhere.
Serious, man. Serious. Especially, in the art world, it's ridiculous. It's like, you can get paintings or photography prints for, I'm talking like 20k, 50k, go more than that, There's a whole spectrum. Obviously, there's different brackets you have to move yourself in and stuff, but, if it's something you want to do.
I think art is just crazy money.
Subjective, isn't it, as well?
It's subjective as well.
Yeah.
Subjective. Subjective.
Last question is, last two questions, if that's right. I'll ask this one first. Did it take time for yourself or others to accept that this is going to be your career? I think creatives have a unique journey in navigating the rest of the world, because people almost have to accept them.
I feel like it's hard as well. I just imagine it like it would have been hard to get where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, along the process, a lot of people didn't really understand what I was doing. Like close family and stuff. It's like, okay, like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't get, I get your direction of where you're going to go with this. But, as long as you know you're onto something and you love and you believe in it. It wasn't until this show, in a sense, that it was blown up and I was able to talk about my work, that a lot of, like close ones really understood what I was doing, that it was this serious. Obviously you get the challenging moments, but I think the best moments are when you're challenged, where, not many people believe in what you're doing. It takes a lot of, strength, in a sense, like, no, this is what I do believe in. It takes that. You're going to get those challenges where it's like, am I doing the right thing? Or, is this really for me? Are people going to get it? But, if you really, truly, like, hold on to it, it can take you anywhere. It's just that drive. It's that faith, and there's always, apart from, like, not doubters, but people that don't really understand, there's always people out there really do believe in you, and, always appreciate those sort of like perspectives on your craft, whatever it is. But yeah, the most important thing is just hold on to it, man, whatever it is.
So a few of the themes that I'm picking up from you, Tyrone: faith, belief, vision.
Yeah, 100%. In a nutshell, man.
Where does this vision go? Where does this journey go? When we was researching Rankin's done music videos, short films, feature films, commercials. Obviously,
that brother's been about, isn't it?
Listen, man said
he's done all sorts.
Is that the bear gas smell? and then man chased it. Yeah.
Serious.
Rankin doesn't talk like that, by the way. Where does this journey go for you?
Mad. It's took like the last few years to really sort of get to a certain point where, like, to understand where I'm going with this craft, because I feel like, for me, obviously money's good, but it's not the true core, the true essence of photography. For me, like, photography as a whole, I want to make a stamp and challenge aspects of photography as a whole. I want to, reorder some rules within the photography game. I'm very passionate about photography as a whole, visual arts. I want to, bend or make something within photography that's going to stay there, like, forever, basically, beyond death. That's what I want. That's what I want, man.
Love that.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Man said beyond death.
That's magic.
That's a book title.
Beyond death.
Hey.
It's a book title, I'm telling you. Before our friends die,
without getting too deep.
You're talking to
man.
the morbid musketeers over here.
Serious.
You know what I'm saying?
It's part of life.
Yeah, for real. Bro, I've really loved that.
Yeah, nice.
I've really loved that. For me,
guys.
It's been an eye-opener in terms of what photography is about, what TV show production is about, valuing yourself, valuing your skill set, having that faith. We're still on the very, very beginning of our journey in terms of having that faith, but we're 37 public episodes in at the time of recording this.
Nice.
You know, we've got probably
public.
This is the thing now. There's no going back now. This
Bro,
is the thing, isn't it?
We're out there now. We're out there.
I was in the barbers the other day, and one of the barbers, not my barber, but another one, said to me, "You still doing the podcast, yeah?" I thought, "Yeah, I am, yeah." And I thought,
nice.
Yeah, man, still doing it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. That's
He's like,
that's
"Is it going
it.
alright?" I says, "Yeah, man, it's growing,
Yeah.
it's growing."
You can only expand.
That's what
you
I'm
set
saying.
you set the foundations,
For
and
real.
then the world's your oyster, man.
For real, you're not wrong, and it's really good to have fellow creatives to just see that, you know what, this is actually a well trodden path. As much as it feels like you're out here alone, like we're all just facing something. And whenever you're in a sticky situation, if this is one piece of advice before I shut up, it's basically the best way out is through. That's it. Just face it, keep going. And you know what, when you get them weird emails
100%.
or those scary situations, do you want to go on TV? And yes, because you're going to win.
That's it.
You're going to win.
That's it, man. That's it. Face it. Like you said, that you couldn't have put that more perfectly, man. You've got to face whatever it is you're doing, you know. Don't shy away from it. Just, it's that drive.
A fantastic chat. That has been Before Our Friends Die on the akhi&saltfish Digital Network. You've been joined by me, Kavan,
Me, Rush,
and our fantastic guest, Tyrone Williams. Make sure you check him out.
Thanks for having me, man.
Instagram is
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Ty's
coming
Wheels.
on, man. Appreciate it.
Ty's Wheels, yeah.
At Ty's
Nice
Wheels.
one.
Follow
Nice
him up.
one.
Make sure you support his work. Buy some of his books. Attend his exhibitions. All these great things, because you know what? He's already somewhere. He's not going somewhere. He's going to keep going somewhere else, but he's already somewhere, if you get what I'm saying, right? This has been the akhi&saltfish Digital Network, Before Our Friends Die. You can follow us at Before Our Friends Die Pod, at akhi&saltfish, every single social media platform. We're really grateful that you joined us today. Don't forget to leave us a review, like, subscribe, all those fantastic things. We really appreciate you. And until next time, see you later.
Love.
Bro, that was sick. Really enjoyed it.